So much to say. Uh, Parker, that was really a beautiful share that you put up last night or whenever it was, but you know what it was. That was really beautiful. I wish I could write like you do. But anyways, you were sharing that story, and it reminded me of one of my stories. A while back, many years ago actually, when I worked for that company in Grand Cayman, I never mentioned that before, but now you guys are kind of finding things out. It was in Grand Cayman, and so I got a phone call, and it was last minute. I wasn't even at home. I was out and about in the car, and I was being reminded that there was a special dinner that the company was hosting several tables at, and they didn't have several people, for whatever reason, were not able to be the heads of the table. They weren't able to show up, and so I needed to hop on a plane immediately and go there to represent for this function. And I think it was like a fundraiser for young girls, young island girls or something. I don't know, the Island Beauty something. I don't know what it was. It's so long ago, but they were going to have a fashion show and all kinds of different things going on that night, with a full dinner and sit-down dinner. And I literally had like an hour to get to the airport from like basically my car with whatever I had on me. And so this was going to be like a, black tie affair. I didn't have, I did keep clothes on the island, but not like that. I didn't have any black tie stuff, and I had to go straight. I was going to have to go straight from the airport to the dinner, and so I was on my way to the airport, and I'm thinking fast. What am I going to do? What am I going to do? What am I going to wear? So about maybe 5 or 10 blocks from the Miami International Airport was the Pleasure Emporium. Well, I popped into the Pleasure Emporium, and I just grabbed like 6 funky dresses off the rack. They have those they're like things that like strippers wear and take off. And so I grabbed like 6 dresses in a big hurry, and a couple pairs of stripper heels, and I ran to the airport with the dresses, and I just tried the dresses on the plane in the bathroom, in that little tiny bathroom. And it turned out that there was this black dress, and I still have it to this day, and it looks like it almost looks like it's made out of like snake skin, but it's not. It's just some chintzy stuff, and it was like very form-fitting, like skin tight sleeve type dress, or I don't know if I'm saying that right, but anyways, skin tight dress, spaghetti straps, and very long to the floor. So that's what I wore. I went right from the airplane to the dinner, and so I'm sitting there with like these island officials and their wives and whatnot, and one of the wives, she was an older woman, she turned around, she goes, "I love your dress, where did you get it?" And I'm like, "The Pleasure Emporium." Anyways, that doesn't really relate to Parker's share, but what does is the very next day I was called to yet another emergency, and that was they asked me if I could pose for the National Gallery there for their art. You know, they were having an art class event thing, and the model didn't show up. And on the island, you know, they're very kind of prude and everything there. And so yeah, basically it was, would I go and take my clothes off? I'd never done anything like this before, and you know, I knew it was for a good cause and everything, and so I said, sure, I'll do it. And at that time, I do have some pictures actually of me at that time, and when I look at them now, I'm like, damn, I looked good. But at that time, I really didn't feel that great about my body. I had a lot of body issues, and you know, on and off different, you know, diets and exercise programs and everything, and at that time I used to make this deal with myself that I wasn't even allowed to like turn on the computer and surf the net or anything unless I got on the Stairmaster and did, like, you know, 45 minutes, like, minimum. If I did that, then I was allowed to watch television for the day, and I was allowed to use the computer. And if I didn't, then I couldn't. So I don't remember how long I was on this kick, but I was, and you know, it definitely did help. But I still had body issues, and so I show up to the National Gallery, and with my bottle of wine in tote, because I could not do this sober. And I took my clothes off in front of, you know, the whole, like, class or whatever it was. And there was quite a few people there. It was like, I don't know, 35 people. It was men and women. And I just didn't have eye contact. I just kept telling myself, I'm exiting my body. I'm exiting, like, I'm not here, I'm not here. And let me tell you something. That is hard stuff. You have to hold the poses for, you know, so many minutes. And then, you know, somebody comes along and shifts you into another pose, and you can't move. So I wasn't having any eye contact with these people. I had small breaks to quickly take a little bit of wine to quell my nerves. And then I was doing pretty well until all of a sudden I see flashes. Somebody got out a digital camera and started taking pictures. Like, yeah, I didn't sign up for that. Now, I didn't mind having maybe some sketches of people's different perception of the curves of my body and everything, like how Parker had described. And I really thought that it could actually be very healing for me to see some of those, you know, hard but healing for me to see some of those images. But then the camera came out. So somewhere out there are some, you know, those would be the nude pictures of me. I know some people think like, oh, what are the secrets in your closet? Yeah, that's it. I've never been a porn star, and I've never been a stripper or anything like that. But there are some photos from my my little art modeling gig one afternoon to help out the National Gallery on the island, and your story last night just really brought me back to that time and made me think about how all the different times in my life where I just didn't appreciate my body or feel comfortable in my skin, and all the years that I wasted just not feeling comfortable in my skin. And that day I stepped outside of the box and I did something that was totally unlike me. And, you know, I did it because I thought, well, I'm helping somebody else. But I think it helped me. And then that brings me to today. When I was dropping food off to Minnie, one of her co-workers is somebody that has seen me over the years for many years. I don't know him, he's just somebody that I know in passing, but he has watched me grow and shrink and grow and shrink over, a couple of decades. And he keeps, like, jumping in front of my face every time I drop something off to her, and he's like, oh, do you remember me? You remember me? And I'm like, yeah, I remember you. So, today he happened to say, you're looking so good. I remember you when you were fat. That was, like, hard to hear. I mean, that was hard to hear. I was trying to think while I was sitting there. Well, he did take it back. He says, not that you weren't pretty. You've always been pretty, but, let's face it, you were, you've been up and down on your weight. So, you look really great now. And, I guess that was a compliment and everything. That's wonderful. But I was thinking back at that time. There were a lot of comments back at that time. And I guess I'll go into that another day. But I'm trying to think at what I weighed back then. And, I don't know. I'm not sure what I weighed back then. But yeah, I know I struggled with my weight. My thyroid problem was undiagnosed back then, and I know it was in full swing because I ate very healthy, and I did exercise. But I would have to say, I was probably in the 140s or so, somewhere. Maybe I was 150. I don't know. But definitely it was large enough for somebody who doesn't really know me to come up and say that today. And it kind of all ties in with what Parker was sharing and our body images and accepting ourselves. And sure, it's easy to accept myself right now because, I just did this long round and I'm fitting in skinny jeans. But why couldn't I love myself back when I was posing, nude for the National Gallery that day? I had issues then, even though people said, oh, you're beautiful and you have these beautiful curves and this is just, thank you so much for this gift of modeling for us and everything. But it was hard for me to do. And wasn't just the naked part, that's like a whole issue in itself, but it was hard for me to have people looking at every inch of me, knowing how I felt, knowing that I felt like I had rolls of fat. And yeah, so I don't know. It's a lot of things coming up from shares that you guys share, and people running into me and saying things like, I remember you when you were fat. Anyways, this is a very long vlog, and I'm going to go and unload my car, and I don't know if I even shared in a flowing manner, but I hope that I did, and that's it. I'm pushing up. Okay, so I'm waiting for valet, and I'm going to try to post my vlog, but it's like 18 minutes long, and I don't think it's going to go up, and I don't know. Anyways, everybody was complimenting me about my jeans. These jeans are like so old. They cost me like $20, and I call them my Parker pants. If you could see the thing, the applique, and these are the heels. I don't know if you can see those or not. Anyways,
actually. So there they are. I'm wearing them, and I wore them to Costco. Big mistake. Anyways, I'm pushing up.